Welcome to Strategic Leadership Development for the Next Generation Ministry Leaders. We will learn several important strategies you will need to include in your ministry. Let's start with articulating a vision. Clearly, you have to communicate your ideas to your members. If you do not do this effectively, others will come up with their own ideas of how to run the ministry, and it may not be in line with what you had in mind. For example, I lead the van department at church. I have a vision to acquire a third passenger vehicle to our fleet. One of our current vans makes 3 runs on a Wednesday night to pick up children down the street from our church, while the other van does the perimeter. Having a third van would allow for more children to be picked up and lessen the time for one of our teams. If I do not effectively communicate this, I will not have approval on getting another vehicle. Now, next you need to define and build the culture of your ministry by establishing values, beliefs, and behavior you want to instill in your ministry. The culture for the van team is to arrive alive and safely do so from each stop and to each stop. The culture for the children is to listen to the driver in the ride-along. No fighting, inside voices, and keep your hands to yourself. And no food or drink are allowed. Next, we're going to set our strategic imperatives by setting what's the most critical and non-negotiable goals that are needed for you to succeed, and don't stray away from them. They must support your vision. For us, it would be completed background checks and driving records for all drivers and ride-alongs. Our church logo on the side is what I would want to have as a requirement because it helps the parents know that this vehicle is a safe vehicle to pick up their children and take them to somewhere safe and to be returned safely. When we drive the other vehicles, all the parents know it's us and they release their children to us. Understand what your group dynamics are. Currently, we have 2 15-passenger vans. There is a driver and a ride-along on each one. The driver's responsibility is to drive safely from each stop. But the ride-along has a little bit more to do. They open and close the doors for the children getting in and out, and make sure that the kids are behaving and not distracting the driver. Very important. Now let's talk about conflicts. The conflicts we have are mainly with the kids misbehaving. We hold them accountable for their actions and words, such as disrespecting other students and leaders, using foul language, and not listening to instruction. After being given multiple verbal warnings and sometimes a text message to a parent, they are then suspended for a length of time to grow through their consequence of their actions. They would prefer to not receive accountability by suspension. However, we do try those other options prior so that way we could curtail their behavior. However, it's with no avail. Be ready to solve a problem as it arises and do not let it linger. The longer you go without solving a problem, the more it will fester, and you'll have to clean that up too. On the vans, our decisions have to be made immediately, such as taking a child home before we even make it out of the neighborhood due to their behavior. This rectifies any problems that we have, so that way the others will not follow in the same behavior patterns. Now, make sure that you have a system in place for when your members in ministry have complaints or recommendations. For me, anyone can call or text me for their concerns. Hold meetings. For us, we've had meetings, but we also have a manual for every person in that department to help explain what the expectations are for their positions and the roles that they have. and what others have around them. Then if there's any further questions, they could still reach out to me. I want to give you a big thank you for watching this. I do hope that this will be of great benefit for your leadership journey. Thank you. Until next time.